The superstars of the Camping World SRX Series delivered some big bang for the buck last week at Pulaski County Motorsports Park in Virginia. There was great action on the track. There were some rough moments too, including one that left our most easygoing superstar in ill humor. And of course, we took you right into the thick of the action with Connor Daly and Clint Boyer.
Please tell us how you plan on passing Ryan Newman.
Watch it right here, watch it. Maybe off at 2. Wait, are we on the air?
Trouble front straightaway. It is Garden and Tracy, and they collect Ken Schrader.
I'm not running another race with him. I'm done.
Kyle Busch ended up winning the race, and he's back tonight as the superstars race before a huge, historic, sold-out crowd at Berlin Raceway in Michigan. It's time for Thursday Night Thunder on ESPN.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins. Here we are again for what you wanted, short track midget racing.
It's going to be a rock and roll Thursday night.
And yes, Tony Stewart is here, coming up on Thunder.
It's another win for Tony Stewart.
This is great racing.
Bobby Labonte for the win.
SRX season is going to be intense and aggressive.
There's contact and a spin.
He's a winner in pretty much everything he does.
You're getting ready to get one hell of a show.
Let's try to dial up Clint Boyer.
I'm fancy. Wait, are we on the air?
4-time Indy 500 champion, now SRX winner.
What a win for Ryan Newman. They're on their feet, they're cheering, they're hollering. What a great energy it is tonight. What a scene we have just outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan for week 4 of Thursday Night Thunder. We're at Berlin Raceway in Martin, Michigan. They put tickets for this race on sale in December. They sold them all out in a week. The tailgate here today has rivaled any football stadium you'd ever want to see. And look at these fans. They are ready to see the superstars at their home track. It's an energy you just gotta love. Hi everybody, welcome to Thursday Night Thunder. I'm Alan Bestwick, so glad to have you here with us. We're gonna go racing up this 71-year-old speedway momentarily. First, an update on our driver lineup after last week's race in Virginia. A late crash in the main event involving Paul Tracy in the green car, Joseph Newgarden in the black car, and Ken Schrader collected into it, resulting in hard contact with the inside wall and hard contact between cars. On Friday, SRX CEO Don Hawk announced Paul Tracy was suspended from competition. His replacement? Well, Matt Yoakum has that story.
Alan, if you're going to go to the bullpen on a bull ring like Berlin, you couldn't pick a better name than Johnny Benson Jr., former track champion here back in the day, and his NASCAR resume is impressive. 2 championships, Xfinity and trucks, and wins in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions. A Hall of Famer here at Berlin, and he's back one more time utilizing car number 10, the number he drove to Cup Series victory lane. Now to get the fun started, let's go trackside. And here's Annie Agar and the Agar family.
Drivers, start your engine! Mike.
Oh, you gotta love it. Our 12 superstars are buckled in, ready to go. The engines are fired, and the green flag on heat race number 1 is just moments away. And from high atop the grandstand, hi again, everybody. Joined now by the 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano, back with us. You walked in here, you've seen this scene all day. What are you thinking right now?
Oh, this place is electric. You've seen them all behind you at the opening. Everybody is so excited to see the SRX Series in their hometown in Berlin. It means so much to them. And I tell you what, if you like circle track racing, this is it. This place is a circle. It's not much of an oval. You're going to see tight racing the whole time. Really interesting place. It's an odd shape. You'll see that as they race tonight.
All right, let's introduce you to the field of 12 superstars getting ready to compete here tonight.
Kyle Busch, 2-time Cup Series champion. Johnny Benson Jr., Truck Series champion, Busch Series champion.
Brad Keselowski, 2012 Cup Series champion.
Marco Andretti, your defending SRX Series champion.
Kevin Harvick, 2014 Cup Series champion.
Bobby Labonte, 2000 Cup Series champion.
Tony Stewart, 3-time Cup Series champion.
Amélio Castro Neves, 4-time Indy 500 champion.
Ryan Newman, 2008 Daytona 500 champion.
Haley Deegan, NASCAR Truck Series 2-time most popular driver.
Casey Kane, 18-time Cup Series winner.
Ken Schrader, 3-time Daytona 500 pole winner.
All right, so there are 12 drivers getting ready to go, and in addition to Johnny Benson Jr. joining us, great to have Casey Kane with us. Now, this racetrack, here's an onboard view. It's different.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. An odd-shaped racetrack, very circular. You're going to be able to roll the bottom and pretty much all the way around this place, but you're going to roll the bottom through 1 and 2 here. Look at the outside wall. Oh, yeah, there isn't one. All the way down the back stretch. It's curved. There's no wall, and then you have an odd-shaped turn 3. A little bit of a sharper turn coming up at turn 4, so it's really gets sharper as you come around. They pull down onto the apron, and then you're back at the start-finish line. It's a quick lap. Things are happening really quick, but you're never straightening out your hands. They're constantly turned, and oh yeah, there's a lot of tire wear here. This place has an older surface. Brand new looking facility as we're up here in the suites. It's beautiful, but the surface has been here for a long time, and tire wear is something they're going to have to deal with tonight.
You're going to see a lot of drivers working awfully hard when we go on board tonight. So our format for our event tonight, if you'll notice, there's more racing for you. You've told us you want more. We've increased the distance of the heat races to 30 laps or 16 minutes. And then our main event tonight, after we run the 2 heats and the average of your finish in the 2 heats is how you start the main, our main event tonight is 100 laps of racing.
And it's going to be great. The heat races, to me, is one of my favorite parts of SRX racing because they invert the field after the first one.
Yeah.
And so the fastest cars that led in the beginning are going to be in the back, which creates so much action and passing through the field. And then when you got to save your car, you got to have something for the 100 laps at the end of this thing to ultimately win the big show.
Yeah, so that's what we got. And the drivers going around working through. They've given them 6 pace laps. If you noticed, the drivers came from back in the garage area onto the racetrack directly. We've had a little weather system that's kind of flirted with the speedway, and they kept the cars in there just in case, as you see the South Point camera for Kevin Harvick. And we'll give you a look at some of our onboards tonight. So far, we're dry. But that's why the cars came directly out from the garage onto the speedway.
And I hope we're okay. It's right on the very edge of the cell right now. It seems like we're okay. It's going to be close.
Sport Clips camera for Bobby Labonte and last week's winner Kyle Busch in our Florida Panthers onboard camera, who drew pole position at random draw to start this heat race number 1.
And this track, Kyle Busch has a lot of experience around this place. Kyle runs a lot of late models. We walked around here in the suites, just pictures of Kyle in Victory Lane. He's been here a lot. He probably has the advantage over everyone. Obviously, he's very talented on top of all that, but he knows this racetrack really well. Not as well as Johnny Benson,
That's
though.
right.
Johnny Benson is the hometown hero here, and it's so cool to see him on this racetrack again.
So I happen to be sitting with John back by the driver's motor coaches today when Kyle walked up. And Kyle walked right up to him and said, man, if you have anything together tonight, you're going to kick our butts just because how much experience you have here. And Kyle said it's been a long time since he raced here, a number of years. So.
And this place is so unique. I can't stress that enough. And the guys that have raced here a lot have figured out the little nuances about this place that makes it hard to figure out, right? Some drivers are trying to make this an oval and letting the car straighten out. I don't know if that's the fastest way. You look at the guys that raced earlier today in the late model race, they run it like a circle.
The bottom of turn 4, you're looking at closest to the drone camera here, that yellow line, they'll all be below that, the guys that are running the best line around here.
All the way to that inside wall.
Yep. So we're on the last pace lap, and this capacity crowd who've been here since they opened the gates, actually they were here before they opened the gates this morning, they are all charged up on their feet, ready to go. Busch in red, Benson in white, coming down for the start of heat number 1, week 4 of Thursday Night Thunder.
Kyle with a big start there on the bottom, able to take the lead comfortably.
Looked like Benson really had a tire spin there when he tried to jump on the gas, huh?
Might have. The outside lane's probably a little dirty, a little tough to get going.
So Busch in the red car, Benson in white. Then it's Brad Keselowski, Michigan native. Brad Keselowski running third in that light blue car.
You look at Johnny Benson. He's running a line that's not like anybody else's. He's way high up the racetrack. And like we talked about, how many laps he has around this place, he knows something that nobody else knows, whether that's a way to save tires or what he thinks is the fastest way around.
Here's Kevin Harvick down on the inside with a little nudge on Marco Andretti.
And no time to waste here. You know, we talked about it's 30 laps. That's not a lot around this racetrack. The laps go by in 18 seconds. So they click off really, really quick, and it's your average finish of these 2 heat races. So you got to go.
So Andretti in blue, car 1, as we check ahead now, the race for second place. 2 Michigan drivers with a challenge. Brad Keselowski tries to squeeze underneath Johnny Benson.
And I think we're going to see that move a lot there in the middle of 3 and 4. It's almost like a bit of a straightaway. I think the fastest lane is to let it open up a little bit in the center of 3 and 4. But what that does is it opens the door for the trailing car to stick their nose in there and try to make that pass.
You have any idea what your heart rate is while you're racing? Do you track that?
It's up there, about $160.
Here's on board with Kevin Harvick.
And listen to the throttle here. I'm telling you right now, he's not even close to wide open around this track. He's constantly turning, constantly working the throttle.
Here's Keselowski. He's going to get by Benson for second place. So Brad Keselowski up to second. Johnny Benson back to third.
Brad looks like he's got that thing turning really well. Seems like the center of the corner, he's really got it going, which I believe at a track that's a circle, turning is pretty important.
Yeah, I would say so. You ever have a race car that was just your favorite of the fleet that you have at your disposal?
No.
Okay, well, Brad does. See, that's not the chassis he started this SRX season in. That one got wrecked. They put him in this one, which was one of the backup cars. He said, no, I want to keep this one.
That's the one
I just like the feel of it.
Well, if the driver thinks it's the best, it's the best.
Let's, as we ride with Kevin Harvick, let's check on him with Matt.
Now, Alan, the drivers do not have spotters, so they have to be visually much more aware of their surroundings. Now, Harvick's spotter in Cup is Timmy Fidoua. Now, Timmy's uncle Gary is a Michigan Motorsports Hall of Famer, and many wins here at Berlin. Harvick spent about 25 or 30 minutes talking with Gary, breaking down both ends of the racetrack, the line to run, corner entry, how to set yourself up to roll through the center and to get a good run off the corner. A lot of great knowledge digested in a short amount of time.
And what a great racer watching here between Harvick and Andretti. Harvick's just showing his nose just a little bit, just trying to figure out how he can creep underneath him, but just couldn't get enough to really get to his quarter panel. He's just kind of sitting there.
Looking ahead from Bobby Labonte. Bobby runs in 7th place. That's Ryan Newman in the other South Point car just ahead of him.
And we talked about tire wear. We talked to Goodyear earlier today. This older surface racetrack wears the tires out. They got 60 laps they're going to have to run between these 2 heat races. Saving your stuff a little bit right now for the second heat race, it could also be a play too. You burn them up right now, it's going to cost you for 2 races.
That's right.
So definitely one of those races you got to use your brain a little bit. It's not full aggression. And I think that's why so far we've seen this to be a little bit of a unique SRX race. Usually they're clobbering each other right now. I think they're using their brains. They're really managing their car.
This racetrack is so different from anything else most of these drivers run, right? And that's the NASCAR guys. Now talk about an IndyCar guy like Marco Andretti or Helio Castroneves. I talked with Marco this afternoon. He said, you know, most times after we get our 5 practice laps, I have an idea what to expect. He said, I have no idea what this is going to be.
I remember the first time I raced here in Berlin. Yeah, it was like 20 years ago, but I remember the first couple laps. I was like, where am I? I don't know where I'm supposed to be. What's fast? And the guys that knew what they were doing were a half second faster than me. I don't know what to do different. You really had to study them.
Let's check in on the lead because Brad Keselowski is tracking down Kyle Busch.
No, Bradley's reeling him in slowly but surely. And this is interesting because remember, they don't have spotters. So Kyle Busch thinks, I don't know, he may think someone's right behind him. I don't think they have a clue. So I believe there is mirrors, though, right?
They do have some mirrors,
okay, so there's mirrors. So he knows Brad has reeled them in here, and they're going to have 12 laps or so to go.
They're not huge mirrors, but they are mirrors. And with the shape of this particular racetrack, a couple drivers talked about judging where that front bumper is against the back bumper of the guy in some of these corners might be a little harder than normal.
Well, that's one way to figure it out.
Yeah. Check out. Yeah, by feel.
Yep.
There's Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski competitively since 2010. They've both done a few things.
Yes, they both have won a fair share of races in the Cup Series. 2 of the stars. That's what SRX is, right? The stars, and they're here. And these are the current stars. These aren't retired guys. These guys are still doing it.
Well, he knocked on the door the first time.
Well, he knows he's there. I'm not sure Kyle's going to let him in now.
Well, I doubt it. Caution flag with 11 laps to go in heat race number 1. Kyle Busch has done all the leading so far, but Brad Keselowski's caught him, and we're going to double him up for a restart when we come back to Berlin Raceway in Martin, Michigan. What a scene it is here tonight. These fans are maybe the most energetic of the season, with all due respect to everybody else. Thursday Night Thunder is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. The Presidential Museum of our 38th United States President, Gerald R. Ford, along the banks of the Grand River. You saw the statue there. Of course, Mr. Ford was a football player for the University of Michigan, a center for the team. And Meijer, another prominent name in this area, the Meijer store chain, retail store chain, so prominent in this area and across Michigan. And those just some of the landmarks of this area where we are, just to the north and west of downtown Grand Rapids at Berlin Raceway in Martin, Michigan. So the caution flag was for lightning. A lightning strike that got everybody's attention, but they have done all the checking they check, and it's outside of the radius of what all the requirements are and the direction it's moving and so on. So they're doing the choose right now to set the restart order.
The choose will be interesting here. I'm not really sure what the preferred lane is, but the way they do it here, there's not an actual cone. They come over the radio and they call their name and they say, okay, pick the lane you want to be in. And so it looks like it's pretty much shortest or bottom. From what I see, take the shortest lane or take the bottom if you have the option. So now you got the 2 fastest cars, and we've seen that Brad was faster than Kyle right before the caution. He's going to be on the outside of him. I like Brad in this position if he can hang on the restart. It seems like it's hard. We saw that with Johnny Benson, the initial start. It's very hard for him to hang side by side with Kyle.
Yep.
If Brad can stay side by side into 1, he might be able to get him on the top side.
And that roar you hear is because the 1 to go signal was just given. So we're going to get a restart in our first heat race next time by. So on the initial start, Johnny Benson in that white car was lined up to the outside of Kyle Busch, kind of spun the tires and couldn't get going. Now Keselowski will choose that outside lane again. What's the magic going to be?
Well, if you spun your tires the first time, now you got 20 laps or so on your tires. They're going to spin them even more this time.
Hope not.
So Kyle, the quick start, he kind of pulled it down, get that shortest distance. You look at him, he's able to clear him, but Brad's able to get down as well and start working on him for the next 11 laps. As they race behind him.
Marco Andretti looking to the inside, but Benson able to clear him. Kyle Busch sliding wide. Keselowski with a look underneath him for the race lead.
And that power he was able to get down that front straightaway definitely helped him, but Brad's still able to just creep underneath them. This is where they're just throttle jockeying, just a little bit of gas trying to get ahead of each other. I'd say right here, Brad's going to get it. Kyle's going to try to cross him over. He's going to get there.
New leader, Brad Keselowski, but for how long?
Yeah, don't say it so quick. Here it is, 2 of NASCAR's best going door to door. This is what everyone at Berlin wants right here, to see the stars going at it. Brad going for a crossover again. Oh, he's getting in there. That was an instant replay.
That was tight.
Now are they going to do it again down at 3 and 4? Or is someone going to smarten up and try to keep him on his outside?
Kyle's trying to break quick. Look.
He's trying.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to make it happen this time.
Pretty good stuff going on behind them, too. As Ryan Newman just got around Marco Andretti for 4th to try and join this fight for the lead. Elio Castroneves is under Andretti for 5th. But these top 2 are putting on a show for us.
Absolutely. That was fun to watch. But just this battle back here. Look at them all piled into each other off of turn 4.
That was Castroneves who had a nose down low and ran out of space.
You said it. These IndyCar guys, they probably come here to Berlin and go, where am I? middle of a cornfield.
So Elio went out for 5 laps of practice and came back in, asked what his times were. Matt, he ran the fastest time in his little practice group earlier.
Elio told me that he is approaching tonight here at Berlin like Pensacola a year ago, where he scored his SRX victory, but just much flatter. And he was telling his crew chief under that caution that his car just runs really well on the bottom down in 1 and 2. He's making up a lot of time there.
And how about the commitment Elio has? He's leaving tonight to go to Nashville for the IndyCar race. He's on track tomorrow driving an IndyCar on the streets of Nashville.
Elio loves being part of this Camping World SRX series.
Yeah, Newman, big crossover under Johnny Benson, trying to get there. Not enough. It's bumpy down on the apron off of turn 4. You see the cars moving a lot.
So Keselowski has gotten away from Kyle Busch a little bit. Maybe Kyle deciding all that crossover stuff, putting a little more grind on his tires than he wanted to do this early.
I mean, it's a smart play. He realizes, hey, I'm not going to beat Brad this heat race. I got another 30 laps on these tires here in just a minute.
Yep.
Save a little bit. Got some room behind you. Play it smart. I believe it's raining out there.
There is the white flag. And we're on the last lap. Ooh, that's not a good camera shot there. Yeah.
Let him go, baby. It's a lot different when you're up here in the booth. They say, let him race.
Yeah.
You're out there, you say no.
Checkered flag, and Brad Keselowski gets a heat race win in his home state of Michigan. I asked Brad earlier if he ran here a lot in his formative years. He said, no, this was too far across the state for my little home operation. So a good fight for the top spot between Keselowski in blue and Busch in red. And at the end, the home stater pulls away for the win. His second heat win this year. And he's the first to win multiple heat races in this summer's Camping World SRX Series.
To me, Berlin is a really, really temperature-sensitive, tricky racetrack that I don't think a lot of these guys know a whole lot about, where I feel like I have a good heads up on them. So I hope I'm right and that I can go out there and kick everybody's butt at Berlin and I don't look like a fool.
It's just like, holy smoke, what a cool place. You know what I mean? No wall on the back straightaway. I seen this guy nose it off in the tire barrier back there. I'm like, don't do that. Run off the grate, off down the front straightaway. I mean, I just think it's a cool racetrack. And even though I've only been there one time, I think that's somewhere I'm looking forward to. I think the racing will be great.
Back in my home state, always feel like when you're in your home state, it has that little extra flavor to it and a little extra, pressure to win. But you get a couple extra calls from family and friends, and that's great. And you just want to perform in front of them.
This Berlin Raceway, one of America's great famous short tracks, again located just north and west of Grand Rapids. Started as a dirt track 1951. And Mario Andretti was one of the first to test when they paved it in 1966. The great Bob Seneker, the all-time leading winners here. You look at some of the others who made their names. John Benson Jr. and Sr., both Hall of Fame inductees into the track. The Keselowskis, now Brad, along with Bob and Brian, winners here, and Kyle Busch, the Battle at Berlin winner, which is their big late model stock race a few times now. Carson Hocevar, he's here tonight. Started winning here at age 12, now making his name in NASCAR. And, of course, Eric Jones, another Michigan guy here. Big money winner as well at Berlin Raceway. Well, add a third Keselowski to that list of Keselowski family winners here as Brad Keselowski wins heat race number 1, and Matt Yoakum is with him.
Well, Alan, you throw in his Uncle Ron, and it seems like all the Keselowski family run well here at Berlin. This was a race that you circled because of your family history. Congratulations. You've got a heat win so far.
Well, that's a start, right? I got a couple heat wins in this series. If I can just make it this whole night without spinning out once, that'll be a massive improvement, Matt. But, no, that was fun. It was a good battle there with Kyle, and my car, I feel really comfortable. I felt awful in practice, and I was like, oh, this might be a long night. But then when I dropped the green for the heat, like, all right, got a feel for it. I've only ran this track once before in my, entire career, and it didn't go so well. But like you said, my dad and my brother, they've won races here, and my brother was very quick to remind me that I'm the only Keselowski that hasn't won a race here. So, Brian, I got a heat race win. Hopefully we can get a feature win.
That definitely counts. So when you look at trying to get acclimated to this place, I saw the faces of every driver when they came in from practice, and this appears to be the most challenging that everybody has experienced so far. How did you try to get up to speed so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, David Strowman took a few laps in the golf cart before after practice, and that helped a lot. But, you just got to get in there and do it. And, it's tough to tell people at home on TV how difficult this track is, but it just doesn't have a symmetrical shape to it at all. And it's really hard to know where you're at and very easy to get lost and find yourself out of position to where you can't recover, and you lose lap time or make a really even big mistake or wear your tires out, all those things. So huge challenge here at Berlin.
And Alan, a lot of drivers who used to run the old Flemington Speedway in New Jersey in the truck series, they said this is a little bit like Flemington, which was a squared racetrack, so to speak. So, a little bit of history to go back on, but this is a very unique, one-of-a-kind type track.
Yeah, sure enough is. And good news is the rain has already let off, and they're getting ready to load the drivers back into their cars. So maybe in heat race number 2, we could see some more action like we did in heat race number 1.
I hope so. This is an amazing race. This is where Kyle kind of oversent it into turns where you talked about Brad, how you miss one part of the corner, it sets you up for failure for a while till you can set it back up. Brad was able to take advantage of that, show his nose here. Listen to him on the throttle. I love hearing that, how much they're just messing with the throttle a little bit. Kyle recognizes it, crossover off of turn 4. Brad was ready for it a little bit. See how low Brad was down that front straightaway? He was ready for it to try to stop that crossover, but Kyle pulled it down even more. Maybe a little nudge to the left rear helps that as well.
Yeah, hey, I'm coming. I know you don't have a spotter. I'm going to spot for you. Here I am with my front bumper. All right, so again, the drivers loaded back into the cars, and hopefully just as quickly as we stop, we'll get restarted. Drivers talking about heat race number 1. Well, actually, that was on our production day on our basement set, but
I don't know what they were drinking there.
You go back to last week. How big was the blow up on your phone, text messages and calls about your mic drop at the end of the race?
It was time to go. I'm not running another race with him. I'm done. Things happen. They happen out in the race. That's why they make you put a helmet on and a fireproof suit. Tether your helmet to your shoulders and stuff, because there's a damn good chance something's going to happen, but it shouldn't just happen that often.
Well, one of the things that you'll see after heat race number 2, Matt Yoakum jumped in a car, went to the Gilmore Museum with Ken Schrader, and you'll see more of that conversation as we continue on Thursday Night Thunder from Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan. Alan Bestwick, Joey Logano, Matt Yoakum down on pit road. So we're getting ready for heat race number 2. Just joining us, we had a great heat race number 1. And then it started raining in the last lap. They put the cars back in the garage, loading the drivers back aboard, and we'll get them back out racing here shortly. So you're one of these drivers. You just got 30 laps under green. What do you know now that you didn't know before you started?
Well, first off, I wish I was one of the 30 drivers out there. It looks like they're having so much fun around this racetrack. Now they have an idea of what's going on with their car, some of the balance and those type of things, what they were fighting. But what they're going to have now is a real heat cycle on these tires. They got to have the same tires on. They cooled off quite a bit as they're sitting there in the garage right now. How is it going to refire? And then if you're some of the guys that finished in the back of that heat race, now you're going to be up front. You got that track position, and you need to stay up front. That's something I saw in this race already from the heat race before, is that you got to have track position. It looks like the cars that are up front are able to manage their tires, manage their car a lot better, and they're going to stay up there. So this next heat race could be the biggest laps of the night for those guys that did not finish well in the first one.
Ryan Newman passed the most cars in that first heat. He moved up 5 positions from 9th to 4th at the finish. And listen to the roar as the cars come back to the racetrack. And these fans and their enthusiasm for this event at this place, it's been off the charts tonight. You have a radio microphone in hand.
I do. I got Tony Stewart lined up here. Let's see.
Okay.
Hey, Smoke, it's Logano up here in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, bud, I got you.
All right. Well, we were talking about how important track position is and how to manage your tires and everything around here. I hope you have a lot of tires left, because you're going to have to finish well in this heat.
Yeah, it's a fact. I would like to tell you that's some confidence that I can here. I really have never been a very good driver on where tracks are really tight, so I'm struggling to get the right front of the car to cut. Looks like they're pulling us back to the garages here. It's still raining. We'll get this thing in, though, so don't anybody go anywhere. We're going to get this show in. But, yeah, we got to work on it, Joey. It's talked to our crew chief there when we got back here after the first heat. Tried to talk about options of what to do to try to free this thing up.
Are they allowing you to make changes to your car in between the heat races?
No, they got to stay just like we ran through the first heat. We have to have it that way through the second heat. Then we're allowed to make changes. But this is kind of a unique circumstance where we're going back to the garage, but nobody's allowed to make the adjustment.
Copy. Well, you still have the coolest helmet of anybody I've ever seen, so you got that going for you.
Maybe at least I win something tonight.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. Good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Well, just as they pulled him back out onto the racetrack, you see the raindrops in the foreground, but look at the background. Beautiful sunset.
Yeah, I mean, it's raining right now, but we're right on the edge of this thing, and I don't think it's going to be raining for a long time. At least that's my thoughts. I am not a weatherman, but if I was, I can be wrong because most of them are. So I can say that. And, yeah, it's definitely raining, though.
Yeah.
The Doppler puddle is telling us it's raining.
My goodness.
But hopefully it dries off quick, and we're able to get back out there.
Referencing the 8 weather apps that we all have on our phone, they said this is a very brief shower. Now it's just a matter of how much water it drops on the racetrack and how long it'll take to heat back up again and get rid of it. But, man, what a shame.
This is what I like about short tracks, though. There's not jet dryers and those type of things. It's just bring every vehicle you got onto the racetrack and start making laps with it.
Yeah.
And the good thing is there's safety workers out there, because I've been in these situations at tests before where you bring your rental car out there, and next thing you know, it's the rental car 500, and it's not good. It's not good. So they really stopped us doing that years ago, to where we can't do that anymore at tests, and that's probably a good thing, because it got a little too far sometimes.
I'm shocked to hear you say that.
I know.
I'm shocked. Well, it's tough that we don't see race cars going around in circles at the moment. We're seeing safety vehicles, but it does give us a chance to talk to a few more of the drivers. Matt?
Alan, you know the old saying here in Michigan, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes and it'll be something different. So we can definitely see some sunset off in the distance. And JB, SRX for the first time, your race here at your home track. What do you think so far about this car?
Well, right now it's just way too tight, but it's been fun. It's a track. I mean, I've tried to drive in different ways, but where I want to go, it's tight. And when I get high, it's tight. And so hopefully we'll make some adjustments during the break and get it pretty good. But so far, yeah, it's a blast.
So many laps here. Everyone predicted that you would have the big advantage coming in, but typically you're running a super modified here. How challenging to make that adjustment, and also running a car that you've never competed in here at your home track?
Well, I think I got maybe the advantage on the track, but not on the car itself. So I'm just trying to figure it out, trying to move around. I'm pretty tight in areas I don't want to be, but we'll make some adjustments, and really got to thank Berger Chevrolet being on this car at my home track. That's pretty awesome, and we'll see what it brings. But I'm looking forward to the break to make a couple changes.
I'll tell you what, you could have heard the cheers the loudest of any driver when they had the driver introductions out in the front stretch. His home track, his home fans here to watch number 10 here tonight.
Well, John sitting and getting ready to go after a top 3 finish in heat race number 1. And he ran his 5 practice laps earlier today, and that's all he got. First time behind the wheel of an SRX car. Yes, he was our pace car driver a few years ago, but first time in the race car. And he said, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
Well, if you're used to driving a super modified,
yeah,
and then you go to one of these SRX cars, completely different. A super modified is like a short track F1 car, basically. Yes. Is what it is. A ridiculous amount of grip, ridiculous amount of horsepower. Well, these are big, heavy stock cars. You hear them just barely able to get on the gas. They really got to finesse them around the racetrack. But how cool for Johnny Benson to come to his home track and race, NASCAR stars all together. And he is a star, don't get me wrong. And everybody loves Johnny Benson. Yeah, I was walking around all the campgrounds and everybody tailgating earlier, and there's Johnny Benson number 10 stuff everywhere. Yeah. It is really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Matt has caught up with Elio Castroneves.
And a little fan action going on here for Elio. Cooling not like it was, though, at Pensacola a year ago. You compared this track to Pensacola, and you felt like that was going to help you get up to speed. Has that been what you've witnessed here during the race, Elio?
Yeah, definitely it's been helping. I started making some lines that I thought the car was not able to accept, and all of a sudden I'm running in the grass, and the car it's accepting. So very unique, not very much like Pensacola, but so far so good. Let's see where we're going to start again, but managing a little bit of the tires, because certainly it's going to be a long race, and see how it goes.
Now, on your Indy car, you've got a spotter and several at different racetracks, depending on the circuit. Here, no spotter. How challenging visually to try to be aware of the different cars around you?
I'll tell you, man, I see nothing right now. I don't see people in the back. I don't see the corner. It is actually very difficult. But in the end of the day, I cannot go in the grass. So that's what my reference right now. But in the end of the day, it's the same for everyone. I'm having a blast, and let's see how it goes at the end.
Well, he's got about a 10-inch mirror in the center of the windshield, and Dave Stolen have you back up, and you can see he's got a small little round mirror right here on the A-post so that he can see back here. Try to get an idea of who's coming up behind him on his 06.
It's tough. It's tough. These guys that are used to having that help from up high, and they don't have it, and they're on a short track, and some of them have fenders on the car, and they're not used to that either. Well, we're hoping for a dry track and more racing shortly before this huge crowd at Berlin. Time for Camping World at the Track. Our Camping World SRX Series Summer Tour of 2023 started weeks 1 and unexpectedly week 2 at Stafford Speedway in Connecticut. Then we moved on to Pulaski County in Virginia. Now this week, we're in West Michigan, outside of Grand Rapids at Berlin Raceway. In this area, known for a diverse group of notable celebrities. This is the St. Mary's Activity Center, the Michigan Golden Gloves Association. That's where Floyd Mayweather Jr., the undefeated 15-time world champion in 5 classes, got his boxing start. The Grand Rapids Civic Theater and School of Theater Arts is where Gillian Anderson got her start in acting. Of course, she went on to win Emmys and Golden Globes and Screen Actors Guild Awards. Then there's the Gospel Temple Baptist Church, where Al Green, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995, began performing. He won 11 Grammys. And it's an auto body now, right? But a few years ago, it was a rock and roll club called Top of the Rock, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers got his start performing there. So a lot of notable people and a lot of notable places in Grand Rapids. Next week, we move down to Eldora Speedway in Northwest Ohio, then on to Lucas Oil Speedway in Michigan with Camping World at the Track. Well, Matt, looks like you got some things going on down there.
Going right down the line, Benson, Castroneves. We already talked to the heat winner, Keselowski. So Kevin Harvick, looking at this racetrack here at Berlin, did you go back into your memory bank and use some advice that you'd given your 11-year-old son, Keelan?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. It's this is a lot different than the things that he's been racing on. But I did use the bumper. I tell him to use the bumper all the time. I waited too long early, and I got myself past trying to try a different groove, and then I had to get back forward. So yeah, our South Point car is driving good. I just need to drive it.
All right, we'll go ahead and get in. Drivers are getting back in their cars, ready to go again here at Berlin.
Yeah, that's Kevin behind the wheel in heat race number 1, racing Marco Andretti.
That's a bumper and a fender. If you're keeping count.
Well, he did lead with the bumper, so I guess we
can. He finished it off. It's okay. It's short track racing here.
Yeah. Of course, Kevin winding down his full-time competition in the NASCAR Cup Series with the remainder of this season's events. Going to go into broadcasting on a more full-time basis. But boy, look at that resume. Talk about a career of accomplishments for Kevin Harvick.
Oh, first-round Hall of Famer for sure. Kevin Harvick, able to do a lot on the racetrack, but Kevin does so much behind the scenes for our sport that nobody knows about. He is a huge supporter and helper to everything that's going on in NASCAR right now and really help guiding things from the backside. I wish everyone got to see that side of Kevin Harvick as much as you see on the racetrack. It's really fun to see it.
Matt, you got an update? What's going on down there?
Well, drivers can make some suggestions on things that they would like inside the race car. If you're Kevin Harvick, there's a lot of mirror envy in the SRX driver pool. It looks almost like a school bus mirror that he has hanging from the center of the windshield. In fact, Elio Castroneves said, man, he said, it's almost like lighting, because I can look at his mirror and see 2 cars back. It's so huge.
Rodney Childers is crew chief in the Cup Series. He was in Stafford when I was there.
Yep.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's come from the 4 car at one point.
Rodney was frustrated because he couldn't put his hands on Kevin's race car to help make it better. No, that's not how this works. These cars are all prepared by the series to be relatively close. They're all tested by David Stremme and tuned comparably. And now they can tune a couple things, but only a couple things that the series crew chiefs have to be in charge of between the second heat and the main event. So getting ready to back the cars out, get them back out onto the speedway, and go with heat race number 2. Little look back at some of the action we saw in heat race number 1. Brad Keselowski was the guy that moved forward early, got by Johnny Benson for second, then got by Kyle Busch for the lead, and ultimately heat race win, with Busch finishing second, Benson third, Newman fourth, Castroneves fifth. Then the rain shut us down just as we were trying to get the cars back for heat race number 2. They parked him, brought him back out, then sent him back to the garage. Now they're coming back out again. And all fingers and toes crossed. That's the last of it for the night.
Well, my toes and fingers are crossed that we get to see a heat race as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Because that is what Berlin is all about. That crossover off of turn 4, the racing, and we talked about how weird turns 3 and 4 is. There's no other racetrack that has a set of corners like that. It makes no sense at all. But it puts on good racing and different lines and a lot of different options for these drivers. And what I saw in the first one was where Johnny Benson was running. He didn't like his car. He tried running up the racetrack. I didn't see anybody even think about coming off the bottom of this racetrack. Johnny Benson's the first one I know where to go. Let me try this. Let me try that. Maybe his car wasn't as good as it needed to be to go out there and win, but he probably can make enough adjustments behind the steering wheel at this racetrack to overcome a lot of his balance issues. Once they get that thing balanced, I would look out for him.
So, when I talked with John earlier, I said, okay, the key to this whole thing, protect your spot toward the front with heat race number 1. Then you're going to be in the back for heat race 2. Get 3 or 4 of them, and you'll be right close to the front of the field for the start of the main event. So he's protected most of his spots up front, and now he's got to make up a little bit of ground in this second heat race.
So let's talk about Bobby Labonte. He is starting 4th. Bobby Labonte, Joey Logano in the booth. You got me? Hey, you're looking pretty good out there. You got a good starting spot here around Schrader and Casey Kane, Tony Stewart. These guys have been around here probably a few times too. What are you thinking for the second race?
Well, on the outside there, that was probably not good for my tires, so I'd like to get down so you can let Schrader let me in. That'd be great. But, it's not bad. Trying to save my tires as much as possible.
We only got 3 to go. Burn them up, bud. Have some fun. How's the track look out there? Are we dry and good to go? Good enough. That's what I heard.
Yeah. We'll find out in a minute, won't we?
No news is good news, if you ask me.
Somebody saw some Groove tires sitting down in the infield and said, they have rain tires for these cars? I said, no, those are the dirt track tires. We go racing on the dirt next week in Eldora.
Oh, give them a shot.
Yeah, well. Okay. Because of the rain delays, they're going to cut the distance of heat race number 2 to 25 laps or 12 minutes.
And this makes the urgency go up even more. We talked about how short the laps are here. This is not a really big racetrack. So those guys that ran up front, right? Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Johnny Benson, that are all starting the back of this one. Go, go, go. We talked about 25 laps. Burn those tires up. The heck with them at this point, baby. Use them up.
Going to get some fresh ones, but also going to find out what your car might be like about 60 laps into the main. As the field is half halfway down the backstretch, coming to the restart, and the fans make some noise. Tony Stewart on the pole. Casey Kane in the yellow car on the outside. Schrader and Labonte in row 2. Deegan and Andretti in row 3. Here we go for heat race number 2.
That's the first time we've seen the outside lane be able to fire off with the leader. Casey Kane there on the outside in the yellow car.
How fun to have Casey Kane in the field with us tonight. He was so excited to be here when I saw him earlier today. Big smile on his face. Hasn't driven anything with fenders since he retired from Cup racing.
Wow.
Everything else has been open wheel cars. Ken Schrader gets by him for second as Kane trapped in that outside. Here's Marco Andretti looking low.
Guys just creeping around. Remember, on older tires here, so you're not able to go as aggressively as you'd like to. You really got to be easy on that throttle pedal all the way around here.
Andretti's going to get through Kane and pick up third spot. Casey back to fourth. Bobby Labonte next in line. Casey's going to give that outside a look.
And it's all about getting able to get all the way back down off of turn 4. Casey wasn't able to do that. Kind of opens up the door for Bobby Labonte, trying to work that bottom behind him. Bobby's got a line of cars behind him, so you better pull this one off.
Yeah.
And for Casey Kane, that's bad news. He needs to figure out a way to get back down to the bottom here.
Hailie Deegan's going to try and fill the spot underneath Kane. Deegan in the red car, number 5.
And he's just out there getting freight trained at this point. He needs to try to hustle his way down to the bottom.
Ooh, wow. Deegan slid up. Kane had to take evasive action. Meanwhile, Labonte looking underneath Marco Andretti for third place. Got it.
You hear him just, that's like 10% throttle. You can hear it get on and off. He's just like 10% throttle through there.
And that's a knot behind him. Deegan inside of Andretti. Kane still trying to fight for some track position. Harvick and Newman looking for running room on the bottom. And Castroneves in the middle of it too.
And behind there you see that blue car, Brad Keselowski. He was our Heat 1 winner. We know he has a fast car. And he's trying to grind his way through the field.
Up front, Ken Schrader trying to track down Tony Stewart for the lead of heat race number 2. Got to look inside.
And Schrader sent it down into 3 pretty good there, which made Tony, we talked about the timing of turning it down off of turn 4. Tony missed the bottom on the exit of 4. Opens the door for Schrader, and they're going to race it down the backstretch. Tony going to pull a crossover here. No, he's going to try to roll it up there. Look at when he gets so high, it just does not turn.
So Ken Schrader goes to the lead of heat race number 2. Kenny about to head off on a little racing venture through Canada over the next week or so.
It's interesting. You look at Kenny Schrader's line down the back straightaway. He doesn't go all the way out to the grass on the exit. He was holding it lower down the back straightaway. Let's see if we can see him do it again. See where he's at. He's only a couple lanes. Well, that time he goes up, so now I look like an idiot. But that's what he was doing.
Announcer jinx. Third place now, Hailie Deegan with a run inside Bobby Labonte. How about Hailie moving forward?
Absolutely, and I think this is where, at this point of the run, the guys that were able to save their tires and stuff like that, now they're starting to move their way through the field.
That's Kevin Harvick to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Bobby kind of trapped up in that higher line now.
It just seems like that top lane is just going away. If you're up there, it seems like you are done.
So Schrader, Stewart, Deegan, Harvick, Labonte, Castroneves next in line.
And you see Tony Stewart there. He's struggling. It seems like that car will not turn at all. You see him up at the top of the racetrack. You can even see, look at the left front tire. You can see that thing is cranked hard to the left.
Now remember, I talked about the key to the second heat to getting a good starting spot for the main was passing a few cars from the back after you did well in the first heat. Well, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch are trying to track their way up through traffic, and you saw a minute ago in the graphic on screen that Keselowski's picked up 3 spots already. He's got Kyle Busch right in his tire tracks behind him. There they are.
Yeah, they definitely got to get as many as they can. Only 10 laps to go, even less than that now. So you got to be able to keep moving up through the field. But, man, I just can't get over what Tony Stewart's. And we talked about this before the race started about Goodyear's talked about a lot of tire wear. It makes you wonder, is that car been so tight throughout the first 30-lap race and then also the first 16 laps here? Is that right front just on cords?
Just burned it up.
It might just be gone. Yeah. And you're just on damage control at this point. He's not even fighting anybody. He just knows, let me just see the end of this thing and we can put some tires on and reset it.
Yeah. Let's go back and let me have a crack at a couple things. How about the run for Hailie Deegan in this heat race?
Hailie Deegan all the way up to second place. The invert definitely helped her get a better starting spot, but she's taken that and moved forward with that starting spot. She's going to have a pretty good average finish here.
Caution flag is out in our heat race number 2, setting us up with an 8-lap to go sprint to the finish. It'll be a quick one.
And these cautions just really make it more fun.
Well, that's kind of what. I mean, there appears to have been some controversy over my naming those flags that, but what do fans want to see? Double wide or restart, right? Well, that's what we do here. This is all about having fun. So it's a fun flag with 8 laps to go in our heat race number 2.
The pass for the lead. Schrader just turned under Tony. We talked about some of the issues balance-wise that Tony's fighting. Real easy for Schrader on this one. I'm not sure it's going to be that easy for Schrader on his next restart. Hailie Deegan was reeling him in. It seems like she did a good job managing her tires, managing her car. Now she has the opportunity to choose maybe to the outside, to the inside. I'm not sure what the preferred lane here is going to be. She's going to take the top. Yep. There's your answer. And then you have NASCAR champion Kevin Harvick, who didn't look too bad either at the end of the run. I think Schrader's going to have his hands full on the start.
I think so. So they double up here as everybody does the choose. Looks like Kyle, toward the back of the line, Kyle Busch did not go to the outside. He chose to stay behind Keselowski on the bottom, and Benson chose to stay behind Kyle, so Casey Kane is going to pick up a couple of spots, just as they line up anyway, for this restart with the double up. So we're coming to the green flag here. Randy LaJoie pulls the pace truck off, and it's Schrader inside and Deegan outside with 8 laps to go.
Big launch. You see what they're able to do. They turn down at the same time they hit the gas. He gets a big launch, able to clear Deegan early. We talked about Harvick.
Whoop.
Oh, yeah. He's still using that bumper, Keelan. Look at that. He talked about it.
Getting into the dirt and having to check up allows Newman to his outside and Deegan to get down in front of him. How about Ryan Newman?
Ryan Newman is a grinder. When I think of him and his racing and how he races, he is a grinder. Just figures it out, just keeps moving up. And this SRX series just fits right into his wheelhouse. Look at him just rolling the outside of Deegan here. It's gonna be close if he can clear down.
Schrader to block, try and take away where Newman's got a run on him.
This is where he's gonna have a run. He might just pass him on the outside. Look at this. We haven't seen this all night long. An opportunity to cross him over right here. Says I guess he doesn't need it. He's just going to roll the outside of him.
Schrader's going to say, yeah, I want to make you earn this.
He's definitely doing it the hard way.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Look at the launch he gets off turn 2. Using all of that back stretch. Notice I didn't say back straight because it's not straight.
Yeah, back corner.
Back stretch.
And you're right. It seems like the outside lane can kind of hang everywhere until right here. Newman's able to get that launch off of that corner and clear Schrader pretty easily. Deegan trying hard on the bottom, though.
So Ryan Newman takes over the lead in heat race number 2. 3 laps to go. Schrader still trying to stay there, see if he can get a run and get alongside. Man, they're all the way down in the dirt in turn 2 these last few laps.
You know, we talked about Ryan Newman after the first heat, passing 5 cars. Now he's in the lead. I tell you, this feature is going to be good. When you get the best cars up front, you're going to have Newman, you're going to have Brad, Kyle.
Schrader's not going
Deegan,
away here.
Harvick, they're all going to be right there. I mean, if I was Newman, I probably would have moved it back down. but that guy, he really likes the top.
White flag. 1 lap to go in our second heat race. Newman outside in the South Point machine. Schrader down low in the Federated car. Ooh, just had a little too much dirt on the inside of 2. And Newman shot ahead.
Newman really rolls the top there. He's going to be able to beat him off of turn 4.
Checkered flag. It's Newman in heat race number 2. Schrader gets to the stripe ahead of Haley Deegan, who tried to look to the inside for a last gasp pass. And I'll tell you what, Brad Keselowski moved all the way up to 6th in that heat race from the back of the field after winning heat race number 1. He's going to be up to the front as we get ready to start heat race number 2. So Ryan Newman won heat race 2 at Stafford the first week of our series, so he now also becomes a multiple heat race winner this season as he holds off Schrader to take the second of our preliminaries. Thursday Night Thunder is brought to you by Camping World. Over 1 million RVs sold. Beautiful downtown Grand Rapids, the Grand River, the Van Andel Public Museum, and this is important. Grand Rapids was voted best city for beer in the USA. They're having that vote again now, and the decision gets made like in the next 24 hours, so everybody's hoping Beer City continues to be Beer City. Maybe spoken from a personal angle. I don't know.
Me and my son Hudson came up here today, and we went and checked out Grand Rapids. Not the breweries, though. We went and got a nice pizza and listened to some music. It's a great little city.
Pretty nice place, yeah.
Absolutely.
So Ryan Newman wins heat race number 2 over Ken Schrader. Matt Yoakum is with Mr. Newman.
The last time Ryan Newman ran here at Berlin, 1994, in a midget. Much different than in the stock car, or very similar?
Well, it's different because I didn't win then, even though it's a heat race. I don't remember ever winning a heat race here, so a lot of fun. Car was pretty good and felt like I got a good grip on the racetrack, but anything can happen in 100 laps. So got to thank Camping World, South Point Casinos out in Vegas, and Ford Motor Company, Coca-Cola, everybody for making this possible. Bass Pro Shops. I don't know when I'll get to fish next, but we're busy racing for a little while and having a lot of fun.
All right, he's going to be fishing for another feature win. He's double dipping tonight, so we're going to put a pack on Newman and let him start roaming through the crowd. Oh, he's already got a mic. Remember, he who has the mic gets the last word.
Yeah.
Always remember. AB?
All right, so while we get Newman outfitted and let him go to find his first victim, let's talk about Ken Schrader, who's joined SRX this season as a full-time driver. Kenny, just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and of course such a dedicated and great ambassador to the sport. Matt Yoakum jumped in a car with Schrader from here at Berlin yesterday and went to the Gilmore Museum, which is just a spectacular place.
It seems like wherever we go, there is something cool to see about cars or race cars.
Didn't expect to find this here.
This was in the movie Ford versus Ferrari.
This doesn't look dated. No. This thing could not look any better.
You go back to Henry Ford when he had the Model T, and you could have it in any color you wanted, as long as it was black.
Right.
What's your favorite color?
Most time I'm white. Definitely not the black, just because of how hard it is to take care of.
Take a stroll on back. I heard they've got a Tucker here, too. Wow, look at the Rolls Royce.
There's your Tucker. It's in 47th of 50.
Yep.
I'm partial to station wagons.
57 Buick.
You have to have a lot of big windows that go down, because I don't see any air. This is in that one Elvis movie.
Yeah.
What kind of dream is somebody got to have when they decide they're going to put... I'm assuming it was an aircraft engine.
The one and only 67 Shelby GT 500 convertible.
One and only.
A&W root beer.
First sponsor I ever had.
Really?
That was a big deal, baby.
That was a big deal. This 1916 racer.
The riding mechanic has to pump up oil pressure and fuel pressure. I think we'd be in trouble now finding anybody that would ride with us.
Yep. I mean, this is like a college campus of automotive history. All right, let's go ahead and head on inside here.
It says eat.
It says eat? Okay.
Eat. What do you say?
I'm behind you.
This is my pie.
That's your
this
pie?
is not your pie.
Mine's coming. When you're looking back on your career, what was your most favorite? Because you're still racing now.
I guess in the 80s, early 80s, just racing so much, up and down the road, run someplace, drive all night in a van, run afternoon shows so you could run evening shows somewhere. That was a lot of fun.
Do you look back on that and say, oh, I wish I could have enjoyed that a little bit more?
No, because we're still enjoying it, because we're still doing it.
What was the most races that you've run in a single year? Thank you.
Now, I feel better. I think 118 is the most races we run in a year. So this year will be 70, so that's nothing like that. But I'll still be in a car over 100 days.
How long do you think you're going to be behind the wheel?
I don't know. Just as long as I'm having fun and want to do it, I'm going to keep doing it, man. That's too much fun to quit. And I'm just scared I don't want to get a job. Don't want to have to get a job. We got to finish up this pie.
Well, you got me hungry there. There's no doubt about that. I'm honored to do this and get to do my first interview on national television with one of the heroes, Kenny Schrader. I didn't think you were supposed to be here this weekend. I'm glad I got to race you.
Yeah, I'm actually not so happy you were here, at that point. But, boy, you just trucked around there. The only shot I had was off that you were working so good, so everybody else going to work and their stuff ran.
Well, I'm out of my car, so you got the advantage. But Joachim, back to you, buddy.
Well, when you look at Haley Deegan's SRX crew, fourth time she has finished third or better in a heat race. So David Stremme, the test driver, also driver coach, came down. Any advice that he gave you?
Yeah, for sure. I think just being patient. I think that's getting reiterated to me by a lot of people, and I think it's super important. So I think it's something that I need to remember throughout the next race. I got a lot of good guys starting around me. We might just be following Kyle, going off his pace in the beginning, and hopefully we can have enough speed in the long run to get around him. But overall, really good car. I feel like handling is great, not making a whole lot of changes, putting on some new tires, and going to get after it.
All right, you can see the smile on her face. It's definitely a fun night here at Berlin. And Ryan, she finished second on the dirt at Knoxville. She'd love to score another podium. Yeah. Who do you got down there?
I got Bobby Labonte, just down the street, my modified partner. How's your car tonight?
Well, it was a little bit better when it was up front, but it's a little bit tight and a little bit free down the straightaway, so I'm trying to fix that. Think I should change air pressure?
Yes. I'm not going to tell you what to run, but I think you should, just a little bit.
I know, buddy. Hey, it's fun racing with you for a little bit.
It is. It was. Yeah. It's fun. It's a really fun racetrack, and look forward to getting back to the next 100.
Oh.
I haven't heard. I think it's someplace up front. First. Looks like maybe first.
Okay.
That's good for me.
Be a little bit before I get to you.
Okay. Back to you.
Ryan, yes, you do start on pole. Bobby will start in 5th position in our main event. It's Newman, Schrader, Deegan, Harvick, and Labonte. The looks like the lineup. Newman, Keselowski, Busch, Harvick, and then Deegan. Just looking at the finish of the heat race. Sorry. Don't fault me.
It's okay.
It happens.
It's okay.
Sports Center tonight is with Nicole Briscoe and John Buccigross. We'll have highlights from the Jets and Browns as they open the NFL preseason. Shohei Ohtani's back on the mound, and how does Max Scherzer fare in his Rangers debut? Plus, Diana Taurasi looking to reach 10,000 career points in the WNBA. It's Sports Center next here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Ryan Newman, Heat Race 2 winner, is our intermission pit reporter tonight. Ryan, who you got?
I got Kyle Busch down here, and I know that unless he's like P1 by like 3 laps, he's never satisfied. So tell me about your car, Kyle.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's junk. Wholesale it.
What are you going to do? You can't not doing anything in the car. What do you do as a driver?
You work more pedals and more steering wheels, but I feel like I'm already pretty busy, so maybe I should just go the opposite way and stop driving and just let the car carry me. But, just fun to be back at SRX, and we're going to give it everything we got. We're crew chief, car chief, everybody, we're putting our heads together, make some changes here, whatever we can, and I want to make more, but we're not allowed, so we'll take what we can get out of it right now.
We'll see if it works for him, and I'm telling you myself, I got to get back in my race car, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, well, good luck there. Good luck there, Purdue grad. Elio Castro Neves, I wish we could bottle your energy and your enthusiasm. You jumped out of the car, you're talking to different drivers like you're running for office. You can definitely see the fun on your face. Patience. How tough is that going to be over the next few laps here in the main event?
Man, I wish I know, man. I'm getting too excited here with this Purdue machine. It's amazing because you actually have an opportunity to go out there and pass people, and all of a sudden you forget that you got to save the tires. It's going to be hard, 60 laps, but well, see what's going to happen. Let's see.
Well, you know, we are in the Great Lakes area, and one of his sponsors right here on his helmet, Cliffs, a century-old shipping group between aggregate, iron ore, you name it, legendary here in the Great Lakes area. Neat to see somebody from this region in motorsports.
All right, Matty, thanks. So Castroneves and the other superstars getting buckled in and getting ready to go. So we fought the weather so far successfully. Our 2 heat races are done. And the main event on Thursday Night Thunder goes green next. Back at Berlin Raceway, Marne, Michigan, getting ready for our main event in tonight's Week 4 Thursday Night Thunder program. Next week, we are going to do it on the dirt and an NHRA drag racer. They're not used to turning. Turning's not good in those things. Ron Capps is going to join the field. Some of the oval competitors had some advice for Ron.
Man, SRX is not NHRA. I need some advice. Brittany, help me.
Advice coming from a drag racer. Kill him on the straightaway, because that's what you know how to do.
What we do. Force, hang on, let me talk. Where are you parked? I know you'll shoot me straight, man. Give me some advice.
Hey, you're gonna go straight, but I want you to keep it low. Low in the corners and push them all out there in the marbles, man. And then stay tight and right. Remember, LL's the word, LL.
Thank you.
Let's get it.
Are you saying going under the dip or over the? I don't have the talent a lot of these drivers do to get up high.
I would, I'd put your SRX car on some back and just spring over it, you know, all the way.
Why is he not answering my text? I could see he read it. Drove right up the inside.
Said you got to get way ahead of it, and that's an advantage NHRA has offered us as drivers because it's so quick. You don't have time to think. You can take that advantage to roundy round racing. You'll be way ahead of those guys. You're not going to have any problems. I'm betting on you.
Man, this is great. I'm getting some good stuff here.
Just run where everybody else is, and so you can get around them without wrecking that thing.
That might be the best advice yet. There's a lot of really good drivers from all different series. Who do you think is going to be maybe a little easier to pass? Who's going to be a little harder to pass? A little wider to pass, maybe?
Sure. I definitely would put my money on Tony. Yeah, you give him just a nice little bump and he'll just move right out of the way. You won't hear anything about it at the end. It's probably your go-to guy.
That's
horrible
next week.
Advice.
Yeah. When Ron Capps, the 3-time NHRA drag racing champion, joins, Austin Dillon, right side of the picture, also jumps in on the dirt. And new breaking news here, Chase Briscoe is going to join the field as well. A guy who's won in all 3 NASCAR National Series, and he knows what he's going to be doing on the dirt. So Briscoe added to our superstar field for Eldora next Thursday night in the Camping World SRX Series here on ESPN.
And that's going to be fun. Briscoe, dirt racer. So is Austin Dillon.
Yep.
Those guys got a lot of experience on the dirt, a lot of experience at Eldora in particular. And there's some others in the field that are pretty good on dirt, too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a fun race.
It'll be really entertaining. Next Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. So we're ready for our main event now. Now, because of the weather delays, the original plan tonight was to run 100 laps and not count the caution flag laps. We're kind of having a little audible because of the weather delay, so we're going to run 100 laps for the main event, and we will count caution laps up to lap 75. So that's the plan as we continue to keep an eye on all things, not just on the racetrack, but on the radar as well.
Absolutely. And, this is something I've been wanting to see all night. The fastest 4 cars are lined up right next to each other. We saw how good Newman was in the second heat race. We saw how good Brad Keselowski was in the first heat race. They're side by side. Kyle Busch right next to Kevin Harvick. They both were pretty solid in there. I'm interested to see how all this is going to play out in this longer race. 100 laps, you got to manage your tires. You can't just go hard. This will be interesting. The cat and mouse game of tire management is going to be a lot of fun for us.
It's a big deal. You saw some of what's gotten us to this point tonight with our heat race winners, Brad Keselowski and Ryan Newman. And not shockingly, they end up on the front row side by side. Kyle Busch, last week's winner, Kevin Harvick. His first go at SRX at Stafford Speedway in Connecticut didn't work out so well. They were like 3 wrecks, and he was involved in 3 of them, and by that time his car was so badly damaged he really couldn't get a full go at it. But Harvick looked good tonight.
He definitely has. He's figured it out. It gave him a couple laps to figure out how to get around Berlin. He's got it now. We know one thing. We've seen it already. He's not afraid to use the bumper, defenders, the doors. Have at it, bud. I like it.
And these fans still so full of energy. Just a great scene here at Berlin. They're still on their feet. They got the lights, the flashlights on, and all the cell phones, giving the drivers a big send-off as they come down to get the 1 to go signal. Getting ready for our 100-lap main event.
You know, something we saw Ryan Newman do, if you were watching the end of the second race, Ryan Newman was working that top side. He's one of the few, him and Johnny Benson, only 2 I've seen come off the bottom. I think he knew he was going to win that race. He was fast enough. He was just getting a feel for it. What's this top going to be like if I'm going to have to race up there later in the race? He's got that in the back of his head a little bit.
So here they are, 12 drivers getting ready to go 100 laps at historic Berlin Raceway. Newman and Keselowski, Busch and Harvick, Deegan and Castroneves, Schrader and Benson, Labonte and Andretti, Kane and Stewart. All lined up 2 by 2, coming to the green flag for the main event.
We have Brad on the top side of the big launch. You see him try to time the start. Did a good job timing that. And they're 2 by 2 all the way back. Little contact already back there. This drone shot's awesome.
Newman slides a little wide. Keselowski's going to clear him off the outside. Now look at Kyle Busch with the whole shot on the bottom off turn 4. What a
he gets in the Brad. Really drove in the corner hard, Kyle did. Trying to get the advantage on Ryan Newman out there. I don't think Brad was ready for that.
Remember, it was last week at Pulaski County Speedway that Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch were racing for the lead in the main event, and Keselowski ended up turned around backwards.
Well, you're going to see them race again. The advantage that these two get, now they raced hard. They're going to use some tire up here early. They get the clean air. They got air going to those brake ducts. They got air. You're able to manage the race, run the pace that they want to. That's going to pay dividends later into the run.
So Keselowski and Busch, 1 and 2. Newman is 3rd. Haley Deegan in that second red car is 4th. And that was Castroneves bouncing through the dirt at the bottom of turn 2, running 5th.
So big jockey for position to start here. Totally expect that. Now it goes to Smart Racer. Don't use your right front up too much trying to turn underneath cars too early in the race. You got 100 laps. You're only 5 in. You got to really manage it and be super patient. We heard Haley Deegan talk about patience. Being easy on the throttle. Be easy on that right front tire as well. Make sure you have something to race with at the end of this thing.
Here's Kyle Busch looking around Keselowski for the race lead, but Brad gets a good run off turn 2. So all that talk, be patient, it's all good and fine. How hard is it to actually do when you got somebody behind you, somebody in front you're trying to keep up with?
Discipline. Discipline. It's so hard to do it. When someone's knocking on your back bumper, you want to go a little bit more, but these guys are all professionals. That's why they're in the SRX series. Everybody here has won before in some really big stages. They've been through this situation before. They've grew up. A lot of them have grown up on short tracks like Berlin. This is like going back to their roots.
Matt, let's a lot of talk about tires and how they were going to play out in this main event. What do you know?
Alan, when you look at Goodyear's decision, they hit a home run bringing this tire very similar to the tire that the Truck Series competed with at North Wilkesboro. Rick Heinrich told me he looked at the tires at lap 30 and around lap 55, and they look the same, so they're very pleased with the wear, but still these guys have to be patient to try to have as much good left in the tires for the end.
All right, well, you really won't know how your judgment played out until we get closer to lap 100 and you see what you got to race with.
I saw Kyle Busch just close like 2 car lengths on Brad there, which there's some cat and mouse games going on right there between the two of them. But it just showed what he had in his car a little bit. Like how he just closed that gap. It's like, he's got a little something left in there.
Can I ask a question? Could it also be Brad seeing he was getting a bit of a lead and saying, okay, I don't want to use up too much too soon?
Possibly. Possibly. I mean, he might want to keep the dirty air on the nose of Kyle Busch as much as he possibly can. You know, I know we're at a small racetrack, but these cars make a lot of downforce, and you want to try to put that dirty air on that trailing car here. And the way you save tires, guys, is not just spinning the rear tires on the exit and saving the rears. It's also just laying off that brake pedal, letting the car roll. You heard Kyle Busch a second ago rolling into turn 3. Just off the gas, coasting. That's what really saves the tires throughout the run and making sure you have a good balance at the end, right? If you just save your rears and not your fronts, well, that's not good. If you just save your fronts and not your rears, that's not good either. Your balance would be off.
So Brad Keselowski, our race leader.
You see that? Look at he just I mean, he got off of turn 4 late into the gas pipe and launched out of there, and then I think he kind of got in there maybe a little harder than he thought. Brad was probably trying to save his stuff, and I'm pretty sure that probably scared the heck out of Brad.
No, it's too early. Castro Neves in the 06, Harvick in the 4, and Schrader right behind them. Elio running 5th, Kevin running 6th, Ken running 7th. I can't overstate the magnitude of difficulty for these IndyCar drivers to come in here and adapt to running these SRX cars on an oval short track. When you prepare for a career in open wheel racing, Saturday night short track racing in a late model stock or something is not what you do.
Oh, the IndyCar guys are at a huge disadvantage when they get into tracks like this. In IndyCar, you can hammer it. Right? I mean, you got downforce, you got brakes, you got big tires. You can hammer the heck out of it. A stock car, nope, finesse. You have to be disciplined. We've been talking about that. And when you come to a track like Berlin, where it's a finesse track times 10 compared to any other track that they've been to so far here.
Yeah,
it's tough, and it's amazing to see the talent that they have to be able to hang with NASCAR's best.
So impressed with how Elio has adapted, got that win at Five Flags Speedway a year ago in SRX competition, and Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti was our champion. Just the amount of adaptation to be able to do this and do it well is really impressive. Now side by side for third, ever so briefly, Ryan Newman outside, Haley Deegan inside, and one car has fallen way off the pace, running about a half a lap behind, Matt.
Alan, when you look at Cup racing in Talladega many years ago, you'd see guys up front and then way about a lap, almost like a half a lap behind, a whole other pack of cars just riding safely, saving their equipment. Marco Andretti, heard a number of drivers talking different strategy. Marco, I believe, is playing it. He's got about a 5-second cushion to Keselowski in his mirror, trying to go as easy and gingerly on those tires as he can in that one car.
I mean, that's extreme. It's super extreme, but hey, if you're not going to move your way through the field much, save your tires big time. You know there's going to be a caution. The SRX race is not going to go 100 laps green flag, I promise. So that is an interesting play. I've never seen it to this extreme, but it'll be cool to see how it works out.
We have seen Marco before. You're given 5 laps of practice. I'm only going to run 2. Because I want to save my tires. I got to run the heat races on those tires. And there was a point where you had to run the heats and the main on the same set of tires. And Marco went about it that way. Then they kind of made a rule that, no. You got to run all 5 of your practice laps, please. Let's have everybody start the race with equal equipment. So this is his risk, right? It's an 18.7 second lap the leaders are running. Marco is 14 seconds behind. So he's 4 seconds ahead of the race leader, Brad Keselowski.
Lap 25, right 2 minutes.
Just coasting. Brad has a little bigger arc into turn 1 that allows Kyle to close up. Brad's able to launch off of the corner, gain that 2-car lengths back. That's just a different style of driving, where Kyle's a little bit more straight into the corner, keeping his car straight. Brad's got a big arc kind of rolling through it, the first part of it. So you're going to see a little closing on the entry to the corner. There goes Brad on the exit, stretching it back out.
Of course, Brad, now an owner in the NASCAR Cup competition. He now one of the owning partners of what was Roush Fenway Racing, now Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, and picked up the win at Richmond with Brad's teammate Chris Buescher last weekend. So partly happy, Brad was, but he wants the trophy all to himself. Hey, we've got all kinds of fans at the track today. There you go.
Maximize your freedom and value in a pre-owned RV from Camping World. With over 18,000 used RVs to choose from and starting at less than $5 a day. We have a floor plan to fit your family's needs and a payment to fit your budget. Like an RV that sleeps 5, just $350 a day. Or an RV that sleeps 7, just $730 a day. It's no wonder Camping World is America's used RV supercenter. Start your journey here and see America for less. Camping World. Over 1 million RVs sold.
This weekend, see one of the best action movies ever made. Don't miss it on the big screen. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, rated PG-13, now playing.
Hey, bud. Wow. What's all this?
Hawaii was too expensive, so I brought it here.
You know, with Priceline, you could actually take that trip for less than all this.
I made a horrible mistake.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Constant Contact's advanced automation lets you send the right message at the right time, every time. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall.
AG1 is foundational nutrition, science-driven vitamins and minerals, pre- and probiotics, adaptogens, functional mushrooms, daily support for whole-body health that you just can't get in a multivitamin. Upgrade your routine at drinkag1.com.
I sign up for free trials all the time. What I don't do is cancel them. Rocket Money uncovers hidden subscriptions and notifies you when a charge is upcoming. From there, you decide if you want that service. And if not, cancel it right from the app with one tap. Download Rocket Money today.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Beautiful look at Berlin Raceway in Martin, Michigan, just outside of Grand Rapids, as the Camping World SRX Series runs this historic speedway. We're 31 laps into our 100-lap main event, and coming to the green flag with Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, first and second. Castroneves getting the break on that restart up to third and looking around for second.
He wants it. He's running pretty hard. Look at see how he's sideways off the corner. You don't want to do that. He wants to go though.
So Keselowski, Busch, Castroneves, Teagan, and Newman, the top 5.
I feel like Ryan Newman, you know, he does a good job of saving his tires, but I'm pretty sure he wants to be in the top 3. We see the best 2 cars, right? Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, best 2 cars on the racetrack. If you're Ryan Newman, who we thought was the 3rd best car, you got to stay in touch with them. You got to be right there for when this race gets a little later to be ready to pounce when they really start pounding on their tires.
Side by side for 6th and 7th, Kevin Harvick with Bobby Labonte to his outside. Labonte in the white car. And here is Harvick now working on Ryan Newman underneath him after clearing Labonte. Just hear how gentle they've got to be with the gas pedal.
I love it. I love it. That low Kevin Harvick gets down into the dirt. Kind of hurts his drive off at the corner there. To allow Newman to stay out there a little bit longer. Newman's going to just say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should just get back in here. Get back down to the bottom.
So Kevin Harvick up to 5th. Newman back to 6th. Here, good look at one of those unique features of this racetrack. No wall behind that back straightaway. Used to be kind of a big drop-off back there. Management a few years ago brought in a ton of fill and kind of leveled that up. So if you got off the back stretch, you didn't have a big problem.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. There's some really wicked highlight films of cars going off the back straightaway at Berlin, and it wasn't pretty. Now it's still not pretty, but it's less ugly at least.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you have the radio microphone in your hand.
I do. I want to talk to Kyle Busch and see what he's doing here. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano up in the booth. You got me here?
Yeah, a little busy.
I figured that, and I figured I'm the person you would love to hear in your ear right now. So I'm here for you. I can help spot you along. But what I want to know is, how hard are you pushing that thing right now? Are you playing a little cat and mouse with Brad out there? How much you got left?
Yeah, definitely a little cat and mouse right now. You're just trying to modulate your gaps, but, you know, hearing you on my radio, that fucking lights a fire under my ass.
Well, I'll stay here as long as you need me. Well, you got Elio behind you. He's looking on the inside. He's there. He's tapping you. Hang on to her. He's pushing hard. He's still there. He's in there, bud. You're clear behind him, though. Yeah, I could be your spotter. Plenty of room behind you. You got 3 car lengths.
So we over-adjusted, but trying to hang on here, see what we can get with some more laps. Let these guys go racing out, burn their stuff up.
Well, 10-4. We'll be watching you. Keep saving it.
Was kind of reminiscent of last week when Boyer said, "I'm busy," and then Connor Daly spotted for him at a moment there.
Well, I love that I can still fire up Kyle Busch. That makes me happy. And I don't know if I got in his head. He didn't get passed all night long until I started talking to him, so I'm sure he doesn't want to hear me anymore. So should just let him go back to work. But how about Castro Neves?
Yeah.
Right? We talked about him pushing it hard. Is he? Because I don't know. I mean, he's still driving up through the field. His car looks really good. Look how low he is in turn 1, all the way through there, really just wrapping it. He's running that lower down the straightaway line. What that does is takes a little lateral out of the car. When I say that, he's able to straighten out his hands a little bit down that straightaway and take some of that lateral load off the right rear of the car and save that tire. Different way of doing it. Seems to be working for him.
Castroneves running second, Matt.
And Castroneves talked about Clint Boyer's line a week ago where he was running not in that bottom group, but below that line. And he knows that he picked up some grip in the heat races when he would try to run the bottom there in 1 and 2. And he's even going farther down than he did then.
Yeah, but he's running hard. We just watched him get sideways off of turn 2. He's definitely running hard, but what I do like, he's using the transitions in the racetrack. Look when he gets down below the yellow line here. There's a transition there. What happens when you put your left front down there? It de-wedges the car. It takes a lot of wedge out of the car. It allows it to turn really, really well. What that's doing is helping it turn and getting them straighter off the corner.
And while we were watching Elio in the main picture, you saw Kevin Harvick get by Haley Deegan in the smaller box. So Harvick up to 4th now. As Elio's continuing to kick up the dust in turn 2.
He's running. I'm really interested to see how this is going to work for him, because he is trying harder than anybody else right now. It may work for him. I don't know. And now Brad has to make a decision. Elio's there, obviously. Does Brad let him go and let him burn him up, or does he just say, "I'm going to race you and I want to maintain the lead"?
And does Brad know he's there yet?
He does. Brad knows. Brad knows. He's watching him in the mirror right now. He's got that left side spot mirror. Now he really knows.
Yeah, look at this. Remember Tony Kanaan leading late in our race the second week at Stafford. And here's Castroneves, who shares this car with Kanaan, going by Keselowski to take the race lead at the halfway mark of our main event tonight. The 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner. Maybe adding a little dirt racing to his repertoire there off turn 2.
And like we said, what does this mean? Brad plays the smart move here. I'm going to let you go. I'm just going to let it happen. Kyle Busch, same thing. I'm going to let you go and let it happen. And let this race play out. We're only just past halfway. A long ways to go here.
Kyle closing back in on Keselowski after maybe regrouping a minute ago.
I mean, ever since I stopped talking to Kyle, he started going fast again. So.
Well, I'm just thinking, or maybe it happened like you said, and he heard you on his radio, and it lit a fire under him.
So, here he goes. And now he's going to apply the pressure to Brad. And he even said it. He was saving his tires, right? He wasn't giving it all he had. Kevin Harvick, another experienced short track racer right behind him. You know, all these guys are playing the same game, except Elio. He's playing a different game, different strategy.
Coming up, 55. So now you've got two guys that have dropped off the tail of the field while we watch this race for the lead. It's not just Marco Andretti who's gone back a bit in this segment. Casey Kane is kind of back there with him.
Yeah, I've watched Casey Kane's car, though. He's wiggling, and he's just really fighting an ill-handling car right now. And I don't think he's saving tires. I think he's struggling.
You think that's just
with that car right now?
The struggle is real?
I think the struggle is real, yes, unfortunately.
All right. Well, still great to have Casey with us tonight. Of course, Knoxville Nationals coming up next for a lot of the sprint car guys. Casey going there with his open wheel team and a car for himself also, and at a big one at Knoxville Raceway in Iowa next week, where we visited with the Superstars in our inaugural season a few years ago.
You can see his red gloves in there, wiggling that steering wheel back and forth, working in there. He's chopping wood, as we say. Sometimes he's in there moving his hands a lot. Not what you want.
All right, Brad Keselowski has regrouped, has found something. There he is, knocking on the back bumper of Castro Neves for the lead.
And this is how we expect this race to play out. The cat and mouse game. And Brad's going to apply some pressure probably here, but he's not going to push it too hard yet. 40 to go. Now, when you get to about 20 to go, if you got it, you better hammer down.
Then there's no time for cat and mouse games, right? And you got to go. Castro Neves.
Brad also moved down. You know, we talked earlier about Brad having that wide entry into turn one and arcing it across the corner. Now he's running it quite a bit lower, using that apron that Elio was running earlier down there in turn one. Definitely changed up his line a little bit, found something for himself.
So front three right there together. Then we've begun to see a little bit of a gap in the field. A little contact over there in turn two as Deegan and Harvick hit bumpers. Everybody gets away okay. And the caution is coming out as the field comes off of turn number 4. So 62 of 100 in the books, 38 laps to go, using all of the racetrack and a little bit that's not intended to be used. Elio Castro Neves getting the lead from Brad Keselowski, and he's out in front of our Thursday Night Thunder main event.
5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. At Camping World, we make seeing America fun and affordable. Take home this new Coleman Lantern or Rubicon for as little as $5 a day. 5, 10, 15, 20. Or this new travel trailer for less than $10 a day. $15 gets you a new fifth wheel. And for only $20 a day, you could drive off in a brand new motorhome. 5, 10, 15, 20. We make RVing fun, simple, and affordable. See America for less at Camping World. 5, 10, 15, 20.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for Sam, who makes
everyday products designed smarter.
Genius! Like 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So Sam can make smart ideas
a brilliant reality.
Chase for business. Make more of what's yours.
I will be a travel influencer.
Hey, I thought you were on vacation.
It's too expensive.
Use Priceline. They've got deals no one else has.
What about work?
I got you.
Looking great, you guys.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. Introducing 24/7 LifeGuard protection, only from Simply Safe. This exclusive technology allows Simply Safe agents to help stop crime in real time by speaking through the new Smart Alarm indoor camera.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on their way.
For instant intruder deterrence and faster police response.
Police have arrived. Your home is safe.
Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Camping World SRX Series getting down to the sharp end of the main event tonight here at Berlin Raceway as the field gets the 1-to-go signal and doubles up for a restart. We'll have 33 laps to go in our main event. Elio Castroneves is the leader. He's the third different leader of our main. Brad Keselowski did most of the leading. Kyle Busch led 1 lap, Keselowski 49, but Castroneves has led the last 16. Does he have enough left in the tank to hold the lead on this restart?
Well, he put himself in position. We'll see what happens here. Brad's on top. He had a good restart up top here one time before. Let's see if he can do it again. No, that was not it that time. Now he's going to have to battle with Kyle Busch, who has a pretty fast car as well.
Well, he's got to deal with Brad Keselowski first. Brad's not going to give it up easily. Second place here. Keselowski in the blue, Kyle Busch in the red.
And this is a spot, I think, if you're Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, you don't want to give up that spot if you're Brad to Kyle. We know he's been saving tires. Brad knows Kyle's been saving tires. And you're kind of at go time. 32 laps to go. You got to start pressuring a little bit more. That's a hard spot to give up right there.
So Castroneves sliding the back end off turn 4. Now with Kyle Busch behind him. Keselowski back in 3rd. Kevin Harvick is settled in 4th. Haley Deegan behind him in 5th.
Elio is working that thing so hard, but really doing a great job at getting those straight launches the best he possibly could. He's going to have some pressure here before the end of the race.
30 to go.
Look at Kyle get through the center of that corner, really close the gap there on Elio. This has been a fun race to watch. And just go back and forth.
And from the minute they announced this was going to be in our Camping World SRX Series schedule this summer, I knew it would be one of the highlight races, just because the funky shape of the racetrack and how hard the drivers were going to have to work every lap around here.
But this is good, authentic, old school racing.
Yep.
Like, this is what we all loved about the sport so much as kids growing up, watching this type of racing, watching everybody trying to outsmart each other. The chess match that is right here. Look at Brad trying to look to the outside.
Busch had to check up. He got into the back bumper of Castroneves, checked up a little bit. Keselowski trying to see if that'll give him an advantage. While Busch looks low off turn 4 and into 1 with a race lead.
I believe they're going hard now. I think it's game time. Kyle's feeling the pressure from Brad. He can't waste too much time with Elio here.
Love this shot. Gives you an idea just how oddly shaped that end of the racetrack particularly is. That turn 4 almost square.
Yes, and you see how Kyle in that corner, he wants to float it up in the corner to try to get that big apex house. He's driving to the outside of Castroneves.
Can he make the long way around work?
And there's Brad going to turn underneath Castroneves. Oh, this is going to get tight.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to get tight.
What a save by Castroneves. But Keselowski says, I'm coming through.
Castroneves still going to try to get back there. He's not going to be able to. And that's what we talked about. We talked about the cat and mouse. Here we are, 25 laps to go. Elio, I hope you had fun up there, but it's over. You've used them up. It was cool while it lasted. Those guys are going to be gone.
And by the way, back in traffic, Marco Andretti is right in the thick of the pack. He's in 10th place, trying to pass Bobby Labonte for 9th and Ken Schrader for 8th. So there's Marco saying, okay, it's time to go now.
Marco saved the most aggressive. He ran around in last place the first 60 laps of this race.
Yep.
And now he's going to go. He has this, really, I guess, the freshest tires of anybody, but he has to pass the whole field to do it. He's going to have to need some cautions to help him here.
At least a couple, yeah. But, we've had those things before in this series as you get down to the last laps. Yeah.
It's a cool play. He's already drove it back up all the way up to 8th. And he's definitely faster than, there's that Tony right there in front of him.
Yeah, Stewart, another one trying to make some hay in the late laps after struggling a lot with that Bass Pro Shops sponsored machine tonight. Yeah, Marco up 3 spots. Ryan Newman, another one you pointed out earlier, was kind of languishing back there in 8th place. Picked up a couple since the last restart.
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to fall back as far as he did. I feel like 6th place with 20 to go, you're too far back, I think. Although he's trying to pass to the outside of Haley Deegan right now, and I think he's up there. He's trying to pull this one off. That's what we saw in the heat race. That launch he gets off of turn 2.
Yeah.
He's going to try to do the same thing to Kevin Harvick.
So Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Elio Castroneves. Then this Harvick and Newman and Deegan fight for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Look at him get down this back straightaway. It's all about his exit at 2. Down here, it's not quite as good. He can roll in, but there we go. He kind of turns back down there. Oh, look out, Kevin. I think he saw it coming. I know one thing. There's certain people you can block and get away with it. Ryan Newman, nope.
Is not one of them?
Don't do that. I have learned that the hard way twice. Don't do that.
Wow, so Newman goes through. Deegan takes advantage of the opening and shuffles Harvick back 2 spots.
So Ryan obviously was saving his tires a lot. Now he's 4th, but he's 4 seconds back with 17 to go. Without a caution, he cannot make that up.
Here's Andretti to the outside of Harvick. Really nice job by Hailie Deegan tonight, too.
Absolutely. She's done a really good... We heard her. She said she's going to be patient. She's going to save her car. She did a good job of saving her car. There's the caution that Newman needed.
There it is.
Now you're going to have a pretty good lineup in the top 4.
Ooh, this gets juicy. I like it. I like it. Yellow out, 16 laps to go. So Kyle Busch now back to the front after literally wrestling the lead away from Elio Castroneves after that last restart.
And this move Kyle Busch makes right here says one thing. He's been here before.
Yeah.
He knew that move. He was waiting for it. He said, you know what? I'll just roll up here and go right by you. And Brad pounced on them running too wide, knowing that Elio's going to be pitched off the corner here. Oh, thank you very much. I'll get to the inside of you.
Then how about this save?
Yep, he saved it. it was good. And Brad was there. That's just racing, right? They're battling for each spot. I don't know if they see it that way, but that's right.
Yeah, it's been great stuff tonight so far. So the choose happening now. Keselowski does choose the outside behind next to Kyle Busch. And Castroneves chooses the inside of row 2. So Newman will be lined up on the outside of row 2. Followed by Deegan and Harvick.
And Newman likes the top side. He chose the top side. He's going to be in the second row. It's all going to be about the start here. Brad needs to be able to stay next to Kyle on this start for Newman to have a chance or Brad to have a chance to beat Kyle Busch. It's all going to be about the launch as they come off of turn 4.
These fans are going bananas. As the 1-to-go signal is being given.
I tell you what, I wish he had a heart rate monitor on me. I'm excited right now. This is going to get good. There's probably going to be some bumping and banging here in the next 15 laps. What do you think?
They've done a good job with the give and take so far tonight. I think it's all switched over to one side of that right now. Yeah. So here we go. 16 laps to go in our main event.
Kyle launched well, but Brad's going to be able to get down right behind him.
If he hurries.
He didn't hurry quick enough, but he's going to get there. He got there.
Wow.
Now it's hustle time.
Newman gets down behind Castroneves and looks to see if he can find some running room low. Man, what a restart for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he is just shot out of a cannon on that restart. And, you know, there's refires on these tires, right? Everybody's going to have a different balance. They might get the heat back in their tires. It's not going to be exactly the same. And you see that kind of happening to Ryan Newman right here, right? The tires cooled off. His top lane that was magic for him isn't there right now. Now he's got pressure back on him.
I'm just giggling because here comes Marco Andretti. Up to 6th place, working on Hailie Deegan for 5th. Andretti in that 1, the Camping World machine, Deegan in the Red Good Sam machine, and that's Ryan Newman just in front of her. She's trying to pass for 4th.
I like Andretti's move right now. Hey, you know what? If you think you're going to be a 7th to 8th place car, well, go for it and save your tires. Maybe you can get into the top 5 or even better. And that's what Andretti did. And it's working.
12 laps to go.
Hailie Deegan there working hard on Ryan Newman.
How about Marco Andretti and his effort tonight, Matt?
Strategy certainly paying off. Also, an adjustment that he made from the cockpit. He dialed some rear brake into that number 1 machine, trying to get it to turn better. And it certainly, as you can see, he has definitely moved up through the field. And his grandfather, the legend, Mario Andretti, competed in a lot of places against a guy named Gordon Johncock, 2-time Indy 500 champion. By the way, Gordy hails from Michigan. He turns 87 on Saturday. Happy birthday, Gordy.
Who was here at Berlin Raceway today, down in the garage area, talking to a lot of the drivers. Had a chance to chat with them myself. Really great to see.
That's pretty great. These guys are all bumper to bumper to bumper right now, and Elio's doing a good job of holding them up. His line and is so low, it's hard for everyone to see how low it is. It's in the dirt. It's so hard for them to get past him. Like, they're all faster, but they can't do anything about it. Newman has laid the bumper to him a couple times, can't do anything about it.
Deegan with a look on Newman, can't get there. And Andretti trying to see which lane's going to go through the cloud of dust.
They're going to need tear-offs from Elliott running through the grass so much.
And this is so entertaining. This all for third place on back, though, as Kyle Busch is gone. Brad Keselowski not even close to challenging him. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Newman
they're
with a look underneath.
Oh, they're rooting hard here. Oh, Andretti's there. Oh, he's running them up. Is Andretti going to fill the hole?
Gonna try.
Oh, Elio got down. Now we know Andretti's aggressive. We've seen this in other ones. I don't think he's going to waste time here. And we know he's done a good job of saving tires. Caution's out.
Got a yellow flag with 6 laps to go.
The 3 best cars we thought that were going to be in the beginning of the race are 1, 2, 3.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. The choose is going to be interesting here. If you're Keselowski, what do you do?
You got to take the front row.
Okay.
You got to take the front row. You got to do your best at timing the restart at this point. Kyle's done a good job at kind of turning down and getting that launch. Yep. He's got to time it the best he can. You got to take the front row if it's there.
You got to play offense, but at the same time, Newman's going to be down on that inside lane, right?
Right, and how aggressive is Newman willing to be here? I don't know. I know if you're Marco Andretti, you're like, I just needed to get to 4th. If he had been 1 row, he would have been in the 2nd row. Most likely he's going to be at the 3rd row in the bottom. I would think that by the way things are going to choose here, unless Elio gives up a spot for the bottom, he may do that. So the choose is where it gets really interesting on a late race restart because there's a highly likelihood of contact, and that changes everything.
And by the way, that blue Camping World machine with Marco Andretti behind the wheel, who has been in full aggression mode for the last, 15, 20 laps?
Yep. I'd say he's ready to use the bulldozer on the front of that thing.
All right, 1 to go is the signal. So 6 green flag laps remain in our main event tonight.
And that's exactly how they lined up. Elio took the outside of the 2nd row. Newman in 3rd. How aggressive is Newman willing to be? How good of a restart can Brad have? And what does Andretti have left in the tank?
All questions to be answered in the next 7 or 8 minutes. As
Maybe
our
less.
field comes to the restart line, Busch in red, Keselowski in blue, green flag. Here we go, 6 laps left.
Brad's got to get down here. He's going to be able to do it. He's got to pounce now before Kyle's able to take off and leave.
Look at this knot from 3rd. Castroneves looking low on Newman.
We've seen this. Newman's car doesn't take off very well. It takes 5-6 laps.
So 5 to go. As Busch has gotten away, Newman able to close that inside off on Castroneves. Here's Andretti inside of Deegan.
Elio's about to have his hands full here.
Right here. 4 laps to go. Here it is. Andretti inside of Castroneves. Coming through.
I love Andretti's strategy. I've never seen someone save tires in such an extreme way. Deegan get inside of Castroneves as well.
Wow, look at Elio's hands working inside that car. He's got nothing left, and he's just trying to hang on. Here comes Schrader.
Everybody's work throughout the whole race of saving tires or not saving tires is all coming out right now.
Tony Stewart. Yeah, Castronev is just sliding backwards now. He's just hanging on. Here comes Kyle Busch, the race leader. 2 laps to go. Busch, Keselowski, Newman, Andretti, Deegan.
Maybe I should dial up Kyle right now to try to make the race a little bit better. Probably not.
He might not answer right now.
He might not.
Yeah.
I'd say he's in good shape right now either way.
White flag, 1 lap to go in our main event. We fought rain. We fought cars that have been hard on tires. We've seen weird strategies, and through it all, Kyle Busch came back to the front. He's going to make 2 starts in the SRX series and have 2 wins to his name. Kyle Busch wins it at Berlin. Brad Keselowski second, Ryan Newman third, Marco Andretti fourth, and Haley Deegan rounds out your top 5. Kyle Busch takes the Florida Panthers to victory lane again.
What a fun race. What a great race. The whole thing all together. Kyle Busch did a good job at saving his tires, using it when he needed it.
Well, he knows how to win here and has done it in other forms of racing. Tonight, he was first to the checkered flag again. So Kyle Busch, the top superstar tonight.
5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. At Camping World, we make seeing America fun and affordable. Take home this new Coleman Lantern or Rubicon for as little as $5 a day. 5, 10, 15, 20. Or this new travel trailer for less than $10 a day. $15 gets you a new 5th wheel. And for only $20 a day, you could drive off in a brand new motorhome. 5, 10, 15, 20. We make RVing fun, simple, and affordable. See America for less at Camping World. 5, 10, 15, 20.
In the heart of the Midwest, Purdue University is building the future of cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, microelectronics, AI, biomedical engineering, analytics, sports technology, motorsports engineering, and pharmaceutical discovery. From Purdue, home to more undergraduate STEM students than any other major research university in America, comes Purdue University in Indianapolis. This new urban campus will further extend Purdue University's mission and impact, creating a first-of-its-kind hard tech corridor. Uniting Purdue's West Lafayette flagship campus with the capital city of Indianapolis, linking industry to world-class educators, researchers, and students who will tackle the world's toughest challenges together. Innovating, instigating, persistently pursuing, boldly moving us all forward with the next giant leap. Purdue University in Indianapolis.
At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. Introducing 24/7 LifeGuard protection, only from Simply Safe. This exclusive technology allows Simply Safe agents to help stop crime in real time by speaking through the new Smart Alarm indoor camera.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on their way.
For instant intruder deterrence and faster police response. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
So what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, I'm kind of in between opportunities at the moment. I used to do angel investment. It's when I pray for money.
Question: how do you instantly earn approval?
But I am the commissioner of my fantasy football league.
Answer: ESPN Fantasy Football.
14 teams?
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Back at Berlin Raceway, race number 4 of our 6-race Camping World SRX series tonight, taken by Kyle Busch.
Absolutely, and a fantastic race. We were talking about this during the commercial. What a good, old-school, authentic race here in Berlin. I loved every second of it.
Let's head trackside. Matt Yoakum is with our winner.
Alan, I think the hardest hit that Kyle Busch had tonight was getting blindsided by Brexton. So excited that you won. How perfect was the execution of the restart?
The restart was really good. Just being here before, knowing what to expect, all that sort of stuff. I thought about restarting in 4th, and I was like, don't change it up now. Just stick with what I was doing all night, So just can't say enough about the guys that I get to work with. They're a lot of fun. Everybody does a great job on these SRX cars, and thanks to Camping World, Bass Pro Shops, Goodyear, Rowdy Energy, especially the Florida Panthers. Hopefully those guys have a good season coming up, and yeah, just would love to come back. This is my 2 for 2, so I'm out for the year, but you know, the rest of these guys can put on a show for you.
He's 2 for 2, but he's the first driver to go back-to-back on the pavement in SRX. Alan?
All right, Matt, thanks. So Kyle Busch, the winner tonight. Joey Logano, final thoughts?
I thought this was another great SRX race. A lot of fun watching Kyle Busch do his thing. All the other stars doing their thing as well. Can't wait for next week.
Next week we'll race on the dirt at Eldora Speedway in Ohio. That should be a ton of fun. That's next Thursday night at 9 Eastern Time here on ESPN. For Joey Logano, Matt Yoakum, and our entire SRX crew, Alan Bestwick saying goodnight from Berlin. You know what's coming. SportsCenter is next.